Hello, everyone. You are listening to Mindfully Aligned. I'm your host, Adanze Benjamin, and I'm so excited to introduce our very special guest for our very special second episode. Today, we will be hearing from the very wise David Nana. Before we get into this episode, I'll give you a brief background on who he is and how we met. As you may know, if you want to meet like-minded individuals, you must put yourself in spaces aligned with who you are. So naturally, David and I met at the gym. I was consistently going, and I would always see him dressed in the same all-black outfit every day. This man was on a whole different level of consistency. After seeing him every day, we eventually connected, and I came to learn of this amazing Instagram page he has, where he uses his poetic talents to share motivational messages about personal growth and one's spiritual journey. David is intelligent, eloquent, and on a whole nother level. After a year of consistent posting, his account has seen massive growth, and it's been amazing to watch. His words of wisdom are super special, so without further ado, let's get into it. Hi, David. Welcome to Mindfully Aligned. Thank you for joining me today.
Thank you for having me.
So I already gave a brief intro for you, but I want to give you the chance to let everyone know who you are.
All right, so my name is David Nana. I was born in London, raised in Ghana, and I'm currently studying information systems in Drexel University. It's a master's degree. I already graduated 2023 in information systems, and right now I'm pursuing content creation on the side in addition to my master's degree.
Awesome. So can you tell me more about what inspired you to start sharing your message online?
I'm a Christian, right? So when I was younger, I think I always had that desire to just help people in any way that I could. So just based off of that, I would always talk to people and be like, you should start a YouTube channel, you should start a TikTok, Instagram, this. I was like, oh, I'll do it. And I always had this deep burning or passion in my heart, but I don't know, I couldn't really find the courage or confidence in my self to do it. I think I started to lose weight 2022, and that's when my confidence started coming back bit by bit. And then that's when I finally decided I have to do this. And I chose Instagram because it was the one I was the most familiar with. It seemed like YouTube was going to be a bit more daunting of a task. So I thought, okay, let me start with Instagram. It's a bit more personal. I have people that follow me on here who know me. So it's kind of easy to start that. Yeah. So that's how the journey started. But the desire to help people, I guess, is based off that Christian upbringing. And especially for my parents in Ghana. It's like we're all focused on family, discipline, respect, especially for your elders. So just coming off that foundation, it's hard to not want to help people or be there for people. So again, that burning desire just kind of bloomed into that. But then I also had this thing where for some reason I just enjoyed poetry, and I don't know where that came from because I didn't study anything. That's why I believe it's like a God-given talent, and not because I'm special. But I do believe everyone has that.
It's important to recognize your gifts. Yeah.
Yes. I do believe everyone has that unique gift, and I think people who think they don't have that gift, I think they underestimate the gift that they do have, because the gift could just be you being kind. Some people just have a really nice smile. I think people underestimate the things that they have, and I think that's one of the reasons why I thought, okay, I used to underestimate myself. So if that David could come out of the old David, why can't I bring the same thing out of other people? I think that's the basic foundation of why I wanted to help people and start the social media journey in the first place, to serve people. And I'm not making any money right now, so I know that's true because no one's paying me to do this. But
so
I'm
it really
making
is your
videos.
passion.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I appreciate you sharing where you came from, how that shaped you. This is something we touched on in the last episode. My parents are immigrants from the Caribbean. My dad's from Jamaica. My mom's from Guyana. So that really made me and my brother think the way we do. It is kind of different. I think you would agree it's very different than the American mentality. There is a certain kind of grit that is instilled in you. Not to say Americans don't have it, but it's just a different kind. Yeah. And so I think it makes us very hungry. It makes us persevere because we want to tap into the same energy that the people who came before us had.
Yeah.
And I think that's very powerful and inspiring. Can you share, because this episode is all about consistency and pushing through even when you're not seeing the results you want. So before we even get into the rest of your social media journey, how about we start there? Let us know about your fitness journey and how that also empowered you.
I'm going to have to be very honest. So the initial catalyst for wanting to lose weight, it was like a heartbreak, right? So it wasn't the fact that I was in a relationship. It was the fact that I knew that I couldn't be in one because of the state I was in. So it kind of broke my heart that I wasn't the man that I thought I wanted to be.
And you weren't your best self.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I just wasn't even trying to be my best self. It was a weird sort of toxic mentality where it became more spiteful and out of vanity. It's like, yeah, I want to see if I can look better. And then these people will see, like, then they'll probably want me. But then when you finally get the thing that you thought you wanted, you're like, oh, I don't really want this. Like, I don't really want validation from other people. So I would say the spite, quote unquote, and just vanity are like temporary things that last for a short time. Then after that, you need to actually figure out a stronger why. It's like, why do you want to do this? And the thing that kept me going was that, okay, that's one thing. I want to disprove that whole myth of like getting old just means you're going to be frail. No. And two, I believe that God is giving us this capable body, and other people don't even have certain things that I take for granted.
Yeah.
So why wouldn't I take full care of those things? I think that's a stronger reason. Doing it for your family, current and future as well. I have this funny thing where I say, like, I want my kids to be able to say, my dad can beat your dad up, and I want that to be true. You know what I want to say? It's like a funny thing I say, but I really mean that. I just want to be able to be strong and healthy for the people that actually depend on me. So those are, I think, stronger reasons to keep working. If it was still about spite and vanity, I would just...
You would have let go.
Exactly. I was like, oh, well, I've gotten it. What I would say is that when you start, you have to analyze your reasons for doing those things. Because if you're just doing it for something temporary, when that thing comes along, you'll realize that, oh, this wasn't a strong enough reason, and you'll just stop doing the thing. But if you have a stronger reason, a reason outside of yourself, you can keep hold on to it for like a longer time period.
Yeah, I love the concept of a stronger why, because that translates to more than the gym. That translates outside of fitness. It translates to any goal. If you're doing something just to prove I can do it, when you do it, now what?
Yeah.
So I think that's also a very important pillar of consistency is number one, establishing why am I even doing this? And is this a reason that can sustain itself for the amount of time that I need it to? Because maybe a goal is temporary, but is the why strong enough to keep you going? So I appreciate that, yeah. So when you were getting started with your social media journey, what did the process of getting into the groove look like for you? How did you find that posting schedule? How did you even find a way to get up and get started? Because I know a lot of people, they have a project or a goal and they can't seem to get it off the ground. So where did that start for you?
So I just wanted to say this came after years of procrastinating. But when I finally stopped procrastinating, it was at the point where it was after I, like I said, lost all the weight. I think the newfound confidence gave me the boost that I needed to say, okay, I'm going to finally start this. But when I got into it, I thought, okay, posting schedule wise, I'm just going to post every day, because that's the ideal amount of times that everyone was saying. So I thought I have to find a system that would allow me to post every day. If you are procrastinating on something, make it sort of productive to where at least you're saving. Because I would save these clips saying one day I'll do it. And
just never post.
Exactly. Like I'm saying okay, I'll do this. And I used to post stuff on my WhatsApp, Yeah. So WhatsApp has like also like a stories thing where you can post stuff, but that's just like with my friends and family. No one would really respond or say anything. I was like, okay, at least I posted it somewhere.
So you did it in a safe zone first.
Exactly.
To prepare yourself.
Yeah. And I was doing very, very silly things. Like I didn't know at the time, but I was building confidence gradually. And then I said, okay, it's finally time to go on Instagram or YouTube or something. And like I said before, I didn't have enough confidence for YouTube. So I said, I'm just going to use Instagram. And I found that it took me about 30 minutes to make one video. So I thought, okay, 30 minutes a day, even in one day, I could make like 3 videos, schedule them, and then just post them as time goes on.
And did you start on Instagram by posting every day? Like you hit the ground running? Okay,
yeah, cool. I posted one video to get the ball rolling, just to say, I've made the page, this is what I have on there. And I said, guys, look, I started a page, follow @valiant.poet, and no one followed.
Of course,
yeah. So yeah, once I did that, after that, that's when I came up with the whole system of I can do the quotes, voiceover, overlay, and since I go to the gym every day, I can just get certain clips with my phone. And yeah, that was a starting point. For 40 days, I was posting every day. And then my phone broke, and I was trying to get a video out on that 40th day, but I couldn't. So after that, I just kind of lost steam.
Broke the flow.
Yeah, broke that. And once that happened, I was doing so well. I was so consistent. And then I was like, I have to reconsider and kind of start again. So then I sat in my room. My lighting was horrible. I just had my phone again facing me.
I remember this video.
Yeah.
I do. I was like, wow, new format.
Yeah. And I was just talking to the camera. If anyone wants to start like recording scripts or stuff, this is my trick for doing this. I write the script, read it like 3-4 times, record it on my phone, put the headphones on or earbuds, like wireless earbuds in, put my hoodie over my head so I would hide the earphones, and then just talk to the camera. Because my memory's bad, and I know that. But I knew that I had to remove that boundary or barrier to execution. Otherwise, I would never do anything.
Right.
And I would have
that
excuses.
would just be another excuse.
Yeah.
That's a great way, I think, for people to even apply this to, again, wider goals, is identifying what your weakness could possibly be.
Mm-hmm.
And instead of just coming up with an excuse for it, come up with an adaptation.
I like that word.
I like
improvise.
that, yeah.
Because excuses can be valid. Let me say that. Like, you can have a valid excuse.
Yeah.
But
how are you going to work around
exactly,
it?
like, at the end of the day, if you get to the end of the life and people are asking you, okay, why didn't you do this? You're going to tell them that valid excuse and they're going to be like, oh, I understand.
Mm-hmm.
That's all. Like, I don't really want to hear, oh, I understand. I want to hear, oh, in spite of that,
And
you were
you
able
still
to
did
do this.
it.
Exactly.
Yes.
That's what I like to hear.
And so this is also about fighting burnout. So, of course, it's easy to stay on track when you are seeing the results you want to see. But how do you stay on track? And again, you hit the ground running with Instagram. You're posting every single day for 40 days.
Mm-hmm.
And at first, no one was even following. So how did you stay the course even when you weren't getting the followers yet? You were just posting into the void.
I want to say, like, I want to give this, like, crazy story, but I think it was just the fact that, like I said, when you have that why, it's sort of irrational. You just keep doing the same, like, you keep going. And I know they say doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results is insanity, but I think sometimes you do have to be insane. And I wasn't...
To reach that kind of success.
Yeah, exactly,
yeah.
because... And I will say this. I will say at certain points, I call them checkpoints. At certain points, certain people would say something, or one person would comment under a video, and it's like, oh, okay, I'm going to keep going. So a video could get 100 views, and I'm like, okay, 100 views. But then the next video gets 200. That's a checkpoint. Mm-hmm. I hit a milestone that maybe other people get in 2 minutes, but I was getting in like a day. But I'm like, okay, that's me. I got this. This is an achievement for myself. So I would start to find different metrics.
The small wins.
Yeah, have a metric for success that is going to help you sort of stay on the track.
Yeah.
Because even though the reason is greater, sometimes you do need those checkpoints to remind you that, hey, it's worth it, just keep going. So when you hear those things, those checkpoints, it kind of helps you keep going. It might not be as amazing as 300,000 people saying, David, this video helped me, but it's like just one person. Mm-hmm. And it won't always happen that it's from someone else. It could just be you realizing that, oh, I really, really like this video.
You looking out for your own, yeah.
I think one video took me like 6 hours to edit. It did atrociously bad. And I'm able to still appreciate the work that I did. And that's a checkpoint for me. That's not coming from anyone else.
Just the fact that you were able to develop your skills enough to put out that kind of video. Not about the views or how many people commented, but just like the validation for that video was, okay, well, I put that out. I created that. Yeah. I'm proud of that. That's enough.
It was the quality of the input. You might not get that external recognition when you start. It's like if you try to be anyone else, the kind of people that you would want to attract
will pass you by.
They'll be like, who is this guy? You have a mask on. They don't know who you are. If you try to pretend to be someone you're not, in search of success or in search of growth in any domain that you're in, you'll get the success or growth, but you'll be empty at the end. That's why you have a lot of people who gain so much money and get worldly success and then still feel miserable, still feel empty inside, because they might have put on a mask that was working for them, but
it doesn't fit
wasn't
anymore.
Exactly. It just wasn't who that's so beautiful. Yeah, it didn't fit anymore. And then it fell off, and then it showed who they really are. So I always kept that in mind. It's like, be who you are, and the people looking for you will find you. And sometimes it's, people say, oh, it's about discipline, not motivation. But sometimes you need, some motivation here and there.
Some kind of feel good, let you know you're doing the right thing at least.
Yeah, that's kind of, you get those checkpoints that keep you going. So sometimes I was like very close to burnout, but then you hear that one thing where someone says, you're like, oh, I can keep going. You should have people around you, people who will be kind to you, meaning tell you the truth regardless of how it's going to make you feel. Yeah. So if you've done something that isn't that good, they'll tell you. If you've done something that is really good, they'll tell you.
And then when they give you that validation, you know it's for real, and that'll be enough to keep you going.
Exactly.
Well, we talked about this earlier, getting no sleep. So that reminded me, what kind of other sacrifices did you have to make in order to stay on track? And this can also apply to the wider realm of just achieving something that you have to work hard towards. What are the common sacrifices you have had to make when trying to stay on track?
I wouldn't say I had to make these sacrifices, because I think if I would have started when I was prompted to, when I believe God had called me to do that, I think I wouldn't have had to make those sacrifices. But because I waited for so long, now to kind of make sure I do those things, I have to sacrifice these things now, which is so it wouldn't be sacrificing relationships entirely, but it would be sacrificing opportunities to build on relationships. Mm-hmm. So with my friends, sometimes I want to just go work out with them, but because of how unpredictable what I'm doing is, I can't just get up and say, hey, let's go commit to this one thing and just do it. It kind of makes me sad because I feel like they maybe think that I don't like them. I was like, no, but I really care about you. Like, I love you as a friend. Right now, yeah, I think it's relationships that has been like, developing those relationships has been like the toughest thing. But the sleep is always going to be a thing. And I think sometimes I've also like had to skip classes, but I don't really think that's like a sacrifice. But
yeah, we've all been there. Sometimes, your schedule's tough when you have to skip school to get other stuff done. OMG.
Yeah, because those things are more of a priority. And I don't think that's a bad thing to say. It's just that the professors don't really know what you're trying to achieve with your life. So yeah, I would say those two things primarily: the sleep and the sacrificing chances to build upon relationships.
And like, how do you cope with the loneliness of that? Do you feel like, because I'll speak to my own personal experience, when I'm always working hard, but when I'm on the grind for real, I can feel drained sometimes. And I think that socialization helps me replenish myself. So how do you find that balance when you're trying to stay on track, but also not trying to feel lonely or drained?
That's a question only future David can answer, because
you're still dealing with
I'm still even today it's more than like a physical loneliness. It's like you said, it's more of like a pursuit. Like whatever you're pursuing, that's the loneliness you feel. It's just that they're not going after the same thing. Like I'm the only boy in my family. Like I'm the only son.
How many girls?
I have 4 sisters.
Oh, cool.
No, it's not cool.
No, that is cool. No, that means, as a side note, here's an Adanze opinion I'm going to give everyone right now. I believe that if you are a male with a bunch of sisters, you have a good head on your shoulders.
Yeah, I see the world differently.
And that's probably why we get along, because I can tell.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Well, that's good, but, it was a sad childhood. I was playing football with myself. Anyways, let's move on. But yeah, no, so when you have that sort of pressure on your back, when you're the only boy and you're coming from like that kind of household, and you feel that obligation to take care of your family, it's more like, but then you add the fact that I'm the only boy to have come here to uni in general, and also to graduate and be doing my master's, and be doing social media always. Even the social media stuff isolates me even more. That level of loneliness I have never felt before. I think I'm still learning how to deal with it. Like doing this is helping because I'm talking out. I think you're getting it out. But when I'm back home editing the video, it's like, man. But then sometimes I talk to people online. I think I'm trying to join some online communities who offer other careers so that we can kind of share in that loneliness. So in that case, we're like alone together. Yeah.
I think it's good. It speaks to putting yourself in situations where, okay, if you feel like right now physically you're the only one who's doing what you're doing, whatever your goal is, you're the only one pursuing that. Putting yourself in situations where there are people who are getting after the same thing as you can make you feel less alone, even if you're not physically hanging out with them, like in your case, but just have someone around you, virtually or physically, who is similar to you, creating that relationship. I think it's good because you can be pursuing your goals and getting that socialization at the same time. So now that you have seen success/results, I know for you laugh because success, this is only a small stop, but you've seen results. It's been super amazing to watch your Instagram account grow. I'm a huge fan.
Thank you.
So now that, you're seeing some kind of results, do you ever catch yourself getting lazy or doubting yourself or even hitting a wall?
Yeah, I think that was more of the old me, where I would be able to get more complacent. But I think knowing that I have more eyes on me, I think that external pressure keeps me like, I have to be on this. Because if people are going to give me 1 minute, 30 seconds of their time, again, on Instagram, which is crazy, in that fast-paced world, people are still taking 1 minute, 30 seconds of their time and saying, oh, I'm going to listen to David speak. I appreciate that, and I'm honored and humbled by that. That's why I'm still creating. Even today, I edited a video for tomorrow, but I think I'm going to have to record another one. Tomorrow's actually my birthday, so I'm going to...
Oh my gosh, happy birthday!
Thank you.
That's actually crazy, because my first guest, my brother, we recorded the day before his birthday.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah. So,
I feel like I have to meet your brother. That's cool.
Yeah, you guys have to.
How
old are you turning, by the way?
24.
24?
Yes, by God's grace. Yes. I don't know if I'm going to feel any different.
Maybe not.
Yeah. and even speaking about feeling different, like when you mentioned the success, the reason I was laughing wasn't because I didn't see it as success. It's more like you get there and you've always wanted to get there, but you're like, I want more. It's that drive deep inside to just keep like trying to achieve more and more and more.
There's a new benchmark.
Exactly. Yeah, again, after achieving that success, becoming complacent is an insult to the people who decided they would hit that follow button and watch 90 seconds of my content. That stops me from being complacent in that
It's the
realm.
humility.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
And I think that's important too. It's important in the beginning stages, and then also when you hit that bump where you feel like you're receiving what you want to receive, still maintaining that humility to remember why you started.
Exactly.
And I think that's what keeps your page authentic.
Yeah, even my birthday message, I'm going to find a way to make it like have a lesson in there somewhere. We'll figure it out.
I'm
Yeah.
excited. Ooh.
Yeah.
So to broaden the lesson of your experience, what are some of the biggest reasons why you think people give up on their goals, just in general, from what you've seen?
This is going to sound mean. You just don't want it enough. And I say that as someone who started and then stopped, is that the level of desire I had, maybe I do want it. I want it enough, but my actions don't reflect that. It'd be like someone telling someone, I love you, but they just don't do anything that shows that they love them. It's like, I
then
want...
do you really?
Exactly. Like
Yeah.
you're saying it, but actions speak louder than words again.
Of course.
So your actions have to be that of someone who needs the thing that they're chasing. Like,
Not passive.
not pass exactly. Like you can't breathe until
Ravenous.
you actually do.
Yeah.
All the words. Yeah. All the synonyms. Because I think it sounds very dramatic, but like I said, there's too much comfort that when you have so much comfort, it's very hard to get out of that loop of like, oh, I want to do this, I should do this.
Because growth
you
is
don't do it.
uncomfortable. And
Very uncomfortable.
I think as people in our society, we are, again, like you said, we're so used to comfort that growing feels uncomfortable. And that's why people, I think, in my opinion, run away from it too. It just doesn't feel comfortable. If you have to wake up early to go to the gym to achieve your fitness goals, because there's no other way for you to do it, if that's your schedule, but waking up for you is painful and you're not used to dealing with something that's uncomfortable, you're going to abandon shit.
Yeah.
You have to kind of get used to getting uncomfortable, because that's what growing is. It doesn't feel good until it does.
Yeah. It seems silly until it pays off. And I will say this. I don't want to speak like I have no empathy for people who start something and then stop, because I have done that before and I just happen to have really stuck to this. I think whatever it is that you actually want, you have to ask yourself why you want it. Because
That goes back to our why. Yeah.
You would like to have it. It's not a necessity. You have to act like that's whatever it is that you're chasing after is. If it's not that, you're not going to do it, and you're going to abandon ship very easily. And then when people ask you about it, it's like, oh, something happened.
Yeah, just
and it's always mumbling. It's like, oh, it's like, I don't know, because I don't think you know either. Because I love to hold people accountable, even if they don't ask me. Even if we're not friends or we're not close, I'm going to try and take it seriously. So I'll be like, weekly check-in, have you done this thing? Have you done this thing? And eventually, if you just say, oh, I'll do it later, I'm like, okay, you do your thing while I do my thing. And then one day, if we're not talking as often, you'll be like, oh, David, why aren't we talking? I'm like, well, because...
we are on different pages.
Yeah. And I still love you, and it's not like I don't want you to succeed, but it's just that I can't do the same thing that you're doing if you're not ready to do the things that you're trying to do or you want to do. And I'm ready, so I'm not going to waste any more time than I already have wasted.
Yeah, we need that accountability to see anything, of course. So we've all experienced plateaus. They're inevitable. Between your fitness journey and your online journey, it's definitely something I'm sure you know how to work through. So from your perspective, what is the mental self-talk that you think people need to work through a mental plateau?
I would say two things. Either what you're doing isn't working and you need to change it, or you need to keep doing what you're doing because something is being sort of fixed in the background while you're doing that thing. So let me give an example. When I was trying to lose the weight, I was 260 pounds when I started. Once I hit 200, it was like a plateau. And I said, okay, either something is happening in the background that's fixing this, or I need to change my method again. Let me just experiment. So I'll keep doing this for another week. If it fixes itself, I know something was being fixed. That's actually what happened. So I was like, oh, okay, so it's not that I hit a plateau. It looked like a plateau, but something was happening in the background that was actually working out in my favor in general.
Just had to be a little more patient.
Exactly, be patient. Because I don't think the plateau is an indicator that you're not making any progress. It's an indicator that something needs to change, or keep doing what you're doing. You just need to be a bit more patient. I'm actually, funny enough, I'm at a plateau in my growth. In 2 months, I gained 33,000 followers.
Amazing.
And it sounds crazy. I don't know how it happened, but
that was so cool to watch.
Yeah.
By the way, every time I check that page, it's like an extra 12,000.
And
I was like, wow.
I was checking it every day, but to other people, they're like, bro, I just checked your page last week. I'm like, yeah, I know. It's growing like 500 like every day. So, and that's why I appreciate more steady and slow growth. So when that's slowed down, now it's slowed down and I have to ask myself, okay, David, do you change something up or do you just keep going for a few days, a few weeks? So right now I'm in the experimentation phase.
Yes.
So we'll see what happens. I'm going to keep going, but I have new ideas that I'm working on. I would say when you hit a plateau, consider two things. Either you just need to be patient and keep going and give yourself a certain time window, or you decide, I'm going to still be patient, but I'm going to change something up. I think when you're in it, you'll know exactly what to do.
And that's something I'm working through myself too. When it comes to my own fitness journey, I mentioned that we met at the gym. I love working out. It's a big part of who I am. But of course, doing something every day can get mundane. You can hit a plateau and you feel like you're not seeing any kind of difference. And that's when I was like, okay, I'm not going to just give up on working out. That makes me happy. And if I lose that, I lose a lot.
Yeah.
So I need to find something else to do. So that's when I decided to start doing Pilates. And that has been an amazing tweak. Just like doing something different throws your whole regular routine off and you get to see something else that you didn't even realize you could do.
Yeah. And it's like a tweak. It's still in the same like
realm
domain.
Of what the goal is.
The goal,
The goal is to be fit. I decided, okay, I'm going to do that a different way. And now I'm happy because I feel myself on track. And I think that just goes for so many things. Don't just give up because you're not seeing what you want to see right now. There's no timer on progress.
Yeah.
You might think there's a timer, but there isn't a timer.
Yeah.
So I think just, again, like you said, being able to watch for a little bit, maybe make a diagnosis and think, okay, maybe I should change a few things. You know yourself best. It's just important to dig deep and figure out what you think that could be.
Yeah, and you have to be really honest with yourself too. You can't just be like,
No,
it
this
can't
is
be
good.
surface level.
Yeah. This is something we've touched on in our last episode, and I'd love to hear more about your perspective on this. Do you think worldly distractions such as social life, temptations, etc., how do you think that plays a role in not being able to achieve your goals? This is similar to a question we talked about earlier, but just to further expand on that.
People can still have these vices and still successfully pursue their goals, but I think the integrity or authenticity of your pursuit kind of is slightly tainted when you allow those to come in. Like, you're not as sober-minded, but is it as good as it would have been if you didn't allow this sort of temptation to overcome you, or if you didn't give into this temptation? But if you decide to like do that consistently, and you're always like, I think you're always sacrificing a bit of yourself when you do that.
Oh, that's a quote. It's like, I saw this quote that said, when you drink, you are borrowing tomorrow's happiness today.
Oh my days. Yeah, no, that's
It's true.
deep. Yeah. I think I saw you post that. And I'm not trying to pick on anyone who drinks it. I'm just saying, like, as a vice.
Just any kind of
Any
habit.
vice. Yeah. Any
that
bad
you give
habit.
into, you're sacrificing your potential in that moment.
Yeah.
That's, again, I still enjoy a social life, but it is important to have a balance, because if you are sacrificing and giving into temptations at the cost, of what you're trying to achieve, you're only cheating yourself. Yeah. So imagine you put out something and people are like, oh, that was good. What could you have done if you didn't cheat yourself?
Yeah. And I think that's how you end up not caring about the pursuit anymore. And it's just like, I'm just doing it because that's what I do. Yeah.
And we owe it to ourselves to give something our all. Don't we want to see and reap the benefits of it? I think we owe it to ourselves.
Yeah,
so
we do.
And so before we close out, I want you to let me and let everyone know what is next for you on your journey. What do you have cooking, if you don't mind sharing?
I have a YouTube channel, so that's kind of the next platform I want to conquer, at valiant.poet. Just another platform to spread positivity on. So YouTube, TikTok, probably coming up with some products to just give people for free. Yeah, just local community stuff, just helping people out physically.
Love it. The marathon continues, as Nipsey Hussle once said. All right, so do you have any final remarks for the pod? Any for our listeners out there?
Yeah, the name of the podcast is Mindfully Aligned, right?
Yes, indeed.
And I like that name, and I think we all have to kind of ask ourselves that question, that are we like mindfully aligned? And the mindfulness is intentionally asking yourself that question, and the alignment would be with whatever you align yourself with. I align myself with like family values, God, and just things that are just glorifying Him. So if I'm doing something and it doesn't align with that, I have to be mindful of that. And when you're out of alignment, you kind of feel some type of way. Your spirit is not happy.
If you're in tune, you feel it.
Yeah. And you can drown out sadness or dissatisfaction with vices, but those are temporary. Then eventually you start to feel that pain again and that sorrow. And there's a quote that says, when your soul is tired, sleep doesn't help. So you don't want to get there. And I think the way you get there is by not being mindfully aligned with your purpose and the pursuit of what you believe you've been put on this world to do. So yeah, I think that's my final remarks. Great name again.
Thank you. Yeah, I feel like that's the motto of my life. I feel my best when I'm mindfully aligned with my purpose. I'm lucky enough where I feel very in tune with my highest self, and I feel like I can hear that voice in my head that guides me. And I think the purpose of this podcast is to help everyone get in touch with that voice, to achieve what they're supposed to achieve, what they're meant to achieve on this earth, to be our best selves. That's what this is all about. And it can be hard when you're young and it feels like there's a million expectations for you put on by society, but it's important to navigate that life as a young person while staying mindfully aligned. So thank you so much for coming on today. Thank you guys for listening. I hope you enjoyed. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and tune in on our next episode.
Yeah.
Thank you.